Rav Rimon is, I would say, the preeminent leader of Tzionut Da'atit, Rav Tamid Chacham, Posek Halacha, and also someone who combines tremendous learned with doing, who sees a need in Am Yisrael and just creates whatever he needs to make it happen. And it is our tremendous, he has lots of titles. He is the Rav of my shul, he is the Rav of Machalev, he is the Rav of Mizrahi, and he is an incredible human being with a tremendous heart and a tremendous soul, and it is our honor to hear from you. Thank you.
טוב, שלום לכולם. תודה רבה. אפשר להמשיך. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהכל יהיה בדברו. אמן. טוב, ערב טוב, שלום לכולם. It's so nice to be here again. There are girls that heard me last year?
Yeah. Not many.
Few? Okay. I have here a list of questions that you sent. We'll read them in a minute. I just want to say that to be here this year in a wartime, I'm sure it's challenging. I'm sure that your families are sometimes not so happy, maybe. But really, Israel is the best place to be, always. First of all, this is our place. This is our land, our family. Secondly, I think that in war, to be in Chutz La'aretz, it's much more challenging than to be in Israel. When you're in Chutz La'aretz, you feel as if it's Israel. In Israel, everything will be poor, misken, everyone will be sad and upset all the time. The energy here is much better than Chutz La'aretz. You agree? You go out, you go to cafe, you see energy, Israeli energy, and they won't break us. We'll succeed. We are together. We have lots of emunah. We see our brave soldiers and wives of soldiers. We know that Hashem is with us and we are going to win. I have to tell you, I receive all the time questions from soldiers, from army soldiers, hundreds of them. I go to be with them. This suit, I try not to take off from Simchat Torah from October 7 last year, just for cleaning. Because with this suit, I had the zchus to hug thousands of soldiers. North, South, Gaza. Some of them are not here anymore. To see our brave soldiers. With this suit, I had the privilege to hug hundreds of injured soldiers. Every week, once, twice, or 3 times I go to be with them in Tel Shomer. On one hand, and it's complicated. On the other hand, you see power. You see how brave they are. Leila Seder had the zchus to do with 400 widows and orphans from this war. And all the time, you see the crying, but you see also the power. And I'll give you just short examples and then I'll go to your questions. I go to Tel Shomer, and there is a couple there, a young couple. They got married 2 months ago. He went to Gaza, he was in the battlefield, and he lost a leg. And his wife, the young wife, new wife, asks him, tell me, if you could have an option to go back on time, would you go again to Gaza? He looks at her and he says, my dear wife, also if I would lose 2 legs, I would do the same. I would go to protect Am Israel. And she looks at him and she says, I'm so happy that I got married to you. It was nice to see this, to see power. I go to another place in Tel Shomer and I see a young Chayal with a girlfriend. And I ask her, tell me, how was it when you heard that your boyfriend was injured? And she says, we weren't friends then. I met him just in the hospital. He was volunteering, she met him there, and now they are friends. You see so many sweet things and power. A few weeks after the beginning of the war, I received a telephone call from a woman, I think around 35 years old, 32 maybe. And she says that a few hours ago, they discovered that she has cancer of the brain. And she says, Rebbe, I need help. I need my husband. I have 5 kids to take care of, and it's very challenging. But I don't know what to do, because my husband is in Gaza. He's a soldier in Gaza. And I don't know what to do. Can I call him and ask him to come back? If I'll do it, he'll come back. But she asks, who is first? Do I need to take care of myself or Am Israel? What do you say on a lady like this? Wow, נכון? You know, I didn't know the end, but 3 weeks ago, she passed away. I went to the Shiva last day and I shared the story. And then the husband told me that for 2 days she didn't call him, she waited, then she called him. And then he said, okay, I'll come back. He said, no, it's okay. You'll stay there. I just wanted a hug. I'll manage. Stay there. And he stayed. He came just after 2 weeks. And the husband told me that when he came, he knew what is his mission. You remember? To give a hug to his wife. He came back and she says, I'm sorry, a few hours ago I became Nida. They stayed at home, they didn't touch each other. Sunday went back to Gaza. After a week he came back again home. But you see people like this, you say, wow, no one in the world can be like Am Israel, can be like our soldiers, like the wives of the soldiers. You agree? And Am Israel. And now we'll see your questions. Okay. I see a few questions on the army, so because I spoke now in the army, I'll read, let's see here, 3 questions on the army. Okay? One question is, what do you think on religious women that go to the army? Another one, how can we know if we should go to the army? And I understand that this speaks about men, not about women. And another one, could you give an advice of tznius in the army for someone who goes to the army? Okay? So I'll start with the question on the army and then we go to the women in the army. I have to try to do it short because on this I can speak all the time on this question. On one hand, we appreciate very much Limud Torah. We know that Limud Torah helps Am Israel. We know that Limud Torah helps Am Israel even on the battlefield. The Gemara in Makot Daf says, עומדות היו רגלינו בשערייך ירושלים. בזכות מה עמדו רגלינו in which זכות we had the זכות to win the war? בזכות שערי ירושלים שהיו יושבים ועוסקים בתורה. The Gemara says, because we learn Torah, it gave us the zchus to win in the war. So of course, Limud Torah is important, always important in wartime. But on the other hand, going to the army, protecting Am Yisrael, and being a part of Milchemet Mitzvah, this is obligation of all men. As the Torah says, כולם חייבים, everyone needs to go and be in the army and protect Am Yisrael. I think it's not just an obligation, it's also a huge zchus. We had terrible pogrom on Simchat Torah on October 7. But pogroms like this we had all our history. Always going try to kill us. But this is first time in history that we succeeded straight after a pogrom to protect ourselves, to defend ourselves, to fight back. This is redemption. This is Geulah. And this is something that we didn't have in our history for thousands of years. And to understand that Baruch Hashem, we are back in Eretz Israel, we have Eretz Israel, and Medinat Israel, the state of Israel, Tzahal, the IDF, all those are signs of Geulah, signs of Mashiach, and it's a big zchus to be a part of it, not to be there. I think it's to lose a huge zchus to be a part of our Geulah, of our redemption, to be today in the war. I think it's the best emunah shiur. You see the soldiers in Gaza, in Lebanon. You see the emunah of soldiers also observant, and you know that today around half of them in the battlefield are בחורי ישיבות. הסדר, מכינות, you see, last 2 months that at least half of the חיילים that were killed are from there. And you see Emunah also with them, but also with soldiers that are not observant. You see everyone together, you see something special. I think there is more Torah on the battlefield today than we had from the time we became a nation. Something special happens, and not to be a part of it, I think it's terrible, and I think it's a huge mistake. I'll just tell you that they ask me every few days to sign, a letter that everyone should go to the army, and I don't sign. You know why I don't sign? First of all, every 2 days they ask me to sign something else. I signed on 5 things in my life. I regret all of them. So I try not to sign. But here I don't sign because I think that lots of people that are doing this war against, let's say, the Haredim, it's not because they want them in the war, it's because they hate them. And I'm not going to a place of hate. I'm not going to sign. I think it will work and it will come, but not from the top to the bottom, but from the bottom to the top. More and more soldiers are going, also Haredim are going in, and they understand the mission. And like this, it will affect later on, that will be also in the army, and also continue learning Torah, like we do in Esder and other places. And when you ask on women that are going to the army, so when you go to the army, there are a few places to go to the army. To go to the army, to be a combat soldier, a woman, this is something that no posek, and no Rebbe will say it's okay. No one. Because to be a combat soldier, it means to be few girls, in a unit of boys. They'll be together, the boys, when they join all the units, so the boys are the majority there, and there are few women, and without speaking at all about things of if it's the right thing or not the right thing for a woman to do it, but it's something that no option of tznius in this way. It's אפילו לא נעים to say stories here, but it's terrible, it's shocking, לא שייך בכלל. And also for the women, it's not the right thing. You know, when you go to combat unit, you have to sign on ויתור רחם. You know what is ויתור רחם? איך נגיד את זה באנגלית?
Give up on your wound.
Because if something happens, you carry. So maybe you won't be able to to be pregnant anymore. So you sign it. It's something that girls cannot be there. If you go to something else, let's say like מורה, חיילת, teacher, or מודיעין, you know what is מודיעין? Intelligent. Then it's better. Although, always, the army atmosphere is not the best place for a girl. And because of this, most rabbis recommend girls to go to שירות לאומי. And I think that שירות לאומי is doing maybe the most important thing today in Israel. You know, when you're in war, so everyone speaks just on the war. But Bezrat Hashem, the war is going to finish. The main mission of the state of Israel today is the social mission, is to bring Olam Israel together, is to help weak societies to be in Batei Yeled. You know what is Batei Yeled? Children homes. To help. Lots of things that those are the missions of שירות לאומי. I think that if you wouldn't have שירות לאומי in Israel, our state would be much less. I think what they do, שירות לאומי, it's unbelievable. And also in שירות לאומי, of course, you have to see what they do to keep your religion, to learn. It's not that you go there, automatically you will be from always. Everywhere you go, you have to work on it. But there, it's also better from the halacha side. And also, I think girls can do the huge mission. And an army, there are girls that are doing very important things there. But the main thing of the army is boys in fighting. And girls can do lots of important things in other areas. Mori ורבי הרב ליכטנשטיין, זכר צדיק לברכה, said once that there are places that they tell a woman, if you want to be important, look, there is one model that called man. You should be like him. And this is something that's not right. Women have so many things to do. And a woman doesn't need to be in Golani or in Sanchanim to understand that she's doing the best shlichus for Am Yisrael. Okay, I think it's enough on those questions, נכון? Okay, there are so many interesting questions. I have 7 minutes, right? It's okay. How much did you win? 40? Okay. Why do we do netilat yadayim? Okay, let's start with this, an innocent question. I don't know if it speaks on Netilat Yadayim of the morning or Netilat Yadayim for bread.
The morning.
Morning? Okay. Netilat Yadayim for the morning, we have 3 reasons. One reason that appears in the Gemara in Shabbat that speaks on Ruach Ra'ah, Shora al Hayadayim, evil spirit, I have to say it, on the hands. And the Gemara says it's just after 3 times that you do the Netilat Yadayim, it passes. Reason number 2, the Rosh says Netilat Yadayim is because before we daven, we need to wash our hands. The Rashba says that when we wake in the morning, we are like Bria Chadasha, a new person. And we need to wash our hands, Rashba says, like the Kohen in Beis HaMikdash, that washes his hands before he starts working, and we are new Bria, new human being every day, and we wash our hands before we go to do all what we do at the day. And the poskim says that the bracha of Netilat Yadayim is just because the last 2 reasons. Because Ruach Ra'ah, it's not something that we would say bracha, we would wash, but we won't say bracha. But I have to say that it's very exciting, especially the time of the Rashba. A Jewish Yid, every morning he wakes up and he knows, I have a mission. Like the Kohen in Beis HaMikdash, I have shlichus, I have a mission. He has a mission in Beis HaMikdash, I have a mission to make the world better, to help Am Yisrael, to be shliach of Hashem. You wash hands and you feel like the Kohen in Beis HaMikdash. Like the Kohen prepares himself to be shliach for Hashem, you are preparing yourself to have shlichus and to do Ratzon Hashem all day. Okay, let's go. איזה שאלה את רוצה? זה?
כן.
אוקיי. אוקיי. So this question speaks about the moral compass and do you follow the Torah in when you try to find the way of your moral compass? Understood the question? No. You want to explain?
Is the Torah your moral compass? Do you ever?
Is the Torah your moral compass? And why? Why not?
Yeah.
Now it's better? Okay. And maybe, maybe I'll take this with another question here. Why לשמור נגיעה? Why לשמור נגיעה? You know what is נגיעה? So you know Hebrew. I'm sure that all the orders of the Torah, they are the best way for us to be, to live, and to act as human beings and as Jewish people. The Torah, in all the Torah, Bereshit, Shmot, Vayikra, B'Midbar, when the Torah will speak on the mitzvot, she will say that we need to keep mitzvot because Hashem told us to keep mitzvot. Those are the mitzvot of Hashem. In Sefer Dvarim, few times, Moshe Rabbeinu adds another things. Moshe Rabbeinu adds, Letov lach. You should keep the mitzvot because this is the way that you will be better. That you will be better human being, that you will be better yid, letov lach. Also in עשרת הדיברות, כבד את אביך ואת אמך, what is the continuous? כבד את אביך ואת אמך, איך ההמשך? כבד את אביך ואת אמך, למען יאריכון ימיך, על האדמה שנשבע שמותיך לתת לך. This is in פרשת יתרו, in ספר שמות, but in ספר דברים, the Torah adds, כבד את אביך ואת אמך, למען יאריכון ימיך ולמען ייטב לך. ולמען ייטב לך, that you'll have, that you'll be better. That you'll be better. And we know all the orders of Hashem, all the orders of Torah, always will be the right direction, the best direction in everything in our life. And I'll try just to give, one example of Negia that you asked, but there are lots of things. Negia is something else, it's more halacha, but as example, there is a rabbi that teaches in the Technion in Haifa. You heard about Technion in Haifa? He goes there one day, and suddenly in front of him, there are two professors. You know these professors? Professorim. One professor and one professorit. A man and a woman. And the professor gives him a hand and he shakes his hand. Both of them are not observant. And then the woman, the professorit, wants to give a hand, and the professor, the man, tells her, don't give him a hand because it doesn't shake women's hand. And then she says to the rabbi, it's true? You won't shake my hand? And then he says, it's true, I won't shake it. But I'm not doing it for me, I'm doing it for you. She became angry. You won't decide what is for me, And then he said, I want to ask you a question. If all men in the world would do the same like me, they would never touch a woman that is not the wife. Will the women in the world feel more protected? She was like this. He said, I have to think about it. The rules of Torah are not easy, but today, more than ever, we can explain and understand how to keep the rules of Torah. All the rules, in all the things, how it brings us to be better people. How it brings us to have a stable family. Just think about what we said now on Negia. Of course, Negia is complicated, but everyone understands that if the world would keep Negia, we would have much, much less problems with all the, how to say it in English, תקיפות מיניות של בנות. You understand? With all the...
Sexual abuse and harassment.
And it's just example, because it starts with Negia. And also this today, you give your hand, you don't know when you get it back. It starts with Negia, it continues, this is a hug. And the Torah has we have rules. We know this is borders that we don't cross them. And I can give examples, I think, that most things in halacha today and in morality, I can explain much better when we follow the Jewish instructions. I want to tell you, a commander, a colonel from the American army came to Israel to check the difference between the American army and Tzahal and the IDF. And he spent a few days with the officers in Tzahal. And then he asked them, tell me, are there also spiritual difference? Are there morality difference? They said, go and speak to Rabbi Rimon. He deals with soldiers. I wrote 2 books for them. They came to me, the colonel and a priest, that he's in charge of religion in American army. Like we have here, Rav Tzvai. He's in charge of religion. They came to me. I shared with them for a few hours questions that I received from the Chayalim. And I share with them another one, and I chose things that are more in morality. And in the middle, the priest says, I cannot understand how the world doesn't know all those things. I mean, you are more morality than anyone in the world. I told him, yes, it's a problem. This is your mission now. But to understand that when you follow Am Israel and Torah, we are most morality than everyone in the world. And it's complicated, it's challenging, but I'm sure that this is the right way. Okay. I want to say something and then I'll answer this question. There's a Muna question here. Would you follow Judaism also if you would see that Torah is not לא הייתה התגלות אלוקית, that is not the real. So first of all, of course, everyone follows his. If I wouldn't be born to a Jewish family and to a Frum family, I'm not sure that I would be here today. But I have to tell you that today, I cannot understand how a Jewish person, our Yid, can be not believer. I cannot understand it at all. A child came to me and he said, Rebbe, can you prove that Hashem exists? And Rebbe, I'm in a rush, so 2 minutes. I told him, if you would ask me a few hundred years ago, it would take me a few hours to explain. בריאת העולם, יציאת מצרים, מעמד הר סיני. Today, no problem. I can answer in 2 minutes. He said, so what's the answer? I told him, never in history, a nation was chucked out of the country. And after thousands of years, came back. Something like this never happened. Historians will tell you that it cannot happen. After 100 years, never can happen something like this. We knew, thousands of years, we knew that we are going to return. How? Because the Torah tells us, the Nevi'im tells us, all of them tells us, you are going to come back to Eretz Israel. You are going to return. When we are here back, we see the promises of the Torah thousands of years ago, things that never happened with no other nations. When you see it in your eyes, you understand, wow, we see that we knew before. We don't only prove that the Torah is real, but you see it in your eyes. And the Torah says that we are going to come back, and the Nevi and Navi Hoshea, we are going to come back, and we are going to be very successful. Better than always, better than ever. ויתבך וירבך מאבותיך. You see today the state of Israel, a young state. We are here so shortly, and we have wars. We are number 3 in the world in high tech, number 8 in the world in medicine, one of the only countries that reaches space. Almost in every parameter, we are one of the 10 best countries in the world. Measure of happiness in the world. A few months ago, they published that we are number 5 in the world. You understand? Last year, we were number 4. It's okay. Wartime, from 4 to 5 is fair enough. Number 5 in the world. I told this child, it's not just that you see that Hashem exists. You see that Hashem loves us. That Hashem ohev amo Yisrael. You see what's going on in the world. You see miracles that it's unbelievable. You see the miracles twice with Iran, with the missiles. You know, a scientist checked it and wrote, if we would have 85% of success, it would be a miracle. Hundreds of missiles that came here and we stopped them. But 99% you cannot explain. We see what happened with Nasrallah and all these people. What happened with the beeper and the walkie-talkie? You know what is a beeper and the walkie-talkie? What happened with Sinwar? A huge miracle. Sinwar, it's not just that they killed him, that they found after the body and then recognized that it's him. If they wouldn't recognize that it's him, you know what would happen? All the history, they would say Sinwar was never caught. It would be the opposite. And to see what happened now with a few months ago, with the attack of Tzal in Iran, it's unbelievable. We see in our eyes, I think that today, you see in your eyes that Hashem exists. You see the Torah, you see the love to Am Israel. And I'll just end. We are now in a special time of our history. Maybe we are writing now another chapter of Tanakh. Something special happens now. And we have to see all the time, to see the bad things we see, but to see how brave soldiers, the wives of the soldiers, to see Am Israel, to see the unity, the chesed. The last few days ago, I made with my organization, Sulamot, a huge event of thousands of teenagers, half religious and half not religious, to see the energy there, to see what's going on. Am Israel wants to be together. Something special happens. And to be a part of this thing is a big schus. If Hashem would ask me, pick a generation. When would you like to be born? From Briat HaOlam till today. I would pick our generation. We have a special generation, special time, and when you are here in Israel, this time is something special. You won't forget it all your life, because something happens now in Geulah, in redemption. So Be'ezrat Hashem, that you'll have the zchus to continue ללמוד תורה בשמחה. בעזרת השם, שתזכו לגדול במידות טובות וביראת שמיים. בעזרת השם, שתצליחו, that you succeed also if you're in your learning afterwards, in academia, in all the other things you are doing. בעזרת השם, שתזכו בזמן טוב לעלות לארץ ישראל. ובעזרת השם, שתמצאו זיווג הגון וטוב וירא שמיים ובעל מידות טובות בזמן קרוב. אמן.
Thank you so much, Reverend. Thank you.